Land of the Bible Introduction. My name is Camille Matchley from Teach All Nations. I am a Holy Land Tour leader. I have a master's degree in the history and geography of the Bible. I did a PhD at the University of Melbourne in Australia on pilgrimage to Jerusalem after 1967. At this point, I've led over 40 tours to the Bible lands, and it's my pleasure to give you this introduction. It is called the trip of a lifetime. I'm referring to a visit to the Holy Land. When we talk about Holy Land or Bible lands, we're talking about places like Egypt, Jordan, Israel, Turkey, Greece, and you can even throw in Rome because we know the Apostle Paul was there. People are going to these places in increasing numbers. It's a phenomenon called mass tourism. Although the pilgrimage to the Holy Land precedes mass tourism. It's been going on probably since the 1st century AD, but in centuries gone by, the journey was long. It took weeks and months. Some people even came by foot from all over the known world. They would stay for a while because, it took them so long to get there. They wanted to get their time's worth. Some never even returned home. Various pilgrims' accounts throughout the centuries detail people having some kind of spiritual encounter, walking in places that were frequented by biblical characters. My question to you is this. In the Old Testament, God mandated that the Israelite men, especially women could come too, must appear before the Lord 3 times a year at the place God appointed, which happened to be a temple in Jerusalem. They came for Passover, Pentecost, and Tabernacles. That was in the Old Testament. Then we come to the New Testament, and there's a Samaritan woman at the well having an encounter with the Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth. And basically she says, we worship on this mountain, meaning Mount Gerizim, next to Shechem, modern-day Nablus, but you Jews worship in Jerusalem and say that's the place to do so. Jesus gave her a most unexpected reply. Woman, the hour has come and is now here that you're not going to worship God in this mountain, Gerizim, or in Jerusalem. You're going to worship God in spirit and in truth, because God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. That's John chapter 4, verse 24. Well, if we are not mandated to go to Jerusalem or to the Bible lands, why are people going in increasing number? I spent 6 years exploring that question, and this is what I've discovered. There's basically 2 key reasons that people go. It doesn't matter which century was their journey. It doesn't matter what their denomination is, even though the vast majority of incoming Christians into Israel are Protestant, evangelical, Pentecostal, with no known pilgrimage tradition whatsoever. So why would they, and for that matter, everybody else, make the journey? I'm going to suggest to you 2 simple, universal reasons. Number 1, devotion. People want to walk where Jesus walked. After all, people do secular pilgrimages all the time, to Graceland, to Gallipoli, to their favorite movie star's star on the boardwalk in Hollywood. So if that's the case, and they do so in some cases with a bit of sacredness in their hearts, how much more to walk where Jesus walked? Jesus, the apostles, the priests, the prophets, they all were there, and to see where they lived is a very moving thing. Now, I must say that with modern transport, many people are driving where Jesus walked, unless you want to take the Jesus Trail, as I have done. 42 miles, 68 kilometers from Nazareth to Capernaum. The other reason is called education. People want to learn more about the Bible. And yes, depending on who you go with, you will learn a lot about the Bible. In fact, you will have a pleasurable crash course in the Bible because it'll all be there. In fact, you'll be so overwhelmed with what you learn that your brain will probably close down at 2 p.m. every day. Your hard drive is full. You have to download it into another place so that you can take in more the following day. So with all this in mind, as our introduction winds up, just remember, it's devotion, it's education, that we go to these places, and indeed, if you prepare right and go with the right people, it will be transformational.